I guess I want to speak once more on the attempted kidnapping of the Michigan governor, Gretchen Whitmer. Um, Listen to her little speech she did, and she quoted Ronald Reagan. I remember when Trump was talking about liberate the states, Michigan, Illinois, and all that. Those are the states with the governors that actually took this thing seriously from day one. Um, and the one thing I kept watching is the approval. Did people approve of them? And in large part, the populations of these states have been very positive. Larry Hogan of Maryland, who's a Republican. Yeah, Larry Hogan, the guy in Illinois, and Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, largely positive. I want to believe that's one of the reasons why they targeted Gretchen Whitmer. Like, I'm not plugged into Michigan. I'm not plugged into their local politics, state politics, or whatever. But I can say that kind of that made me think about that. That hey, this is that. Now let me say this. It gets me that they tell you to take Trump's illness seriously. That we should care about his illness when we have people trying to take out state governors. Um, the whole thing was a reminder, no matter how good I have things going on in my life right now, which things are pretty good. I'm doing pretty good right now. No matter how things might calm down, or you might see this, or you might see positives, we're in a state of war. I operate that way, and I live like that, as though I'm surrounded by my enemies. That interaction, that case, was a reminder of that. It was a cold reminder of the seriousness of the times we live in, and that we have a president who is actually actively playing to white supremacist terrorists. Um, I want to be careful what I say here. I want to be very careful. I don't know anything about Gretchen Whitmer, but if they had taken her life or kidnapped her, that would have made her a martyr. I mean, I get it. The right wants a civil war. I get it. Because they know that they're losing. They know that with the protests and with Charlottesville and all that, there's white folks protesting out here. The Democratic Party is somewhat listening, even though they're not doing it. They're not listening somewhat. That this social uprising that's taken place over the last few months has been a societal shift. They can't have that. One thing I learned about rednecks is that they want to win the argument. They don't care how extreme it gets. They don't care how crazy it sounds. They want to win the argument, period. And that's just what it is. And no matter what they got to do that, they'll do that. That's why, the homophobic slurs, gay, racist slurs. That's what that's about. It's about winning the argument, period. They're not out here to listen or win or any of that stuff. That would have been a mistake of them to do that. And it also makes me think that they know Trump's going to lose. The fact that they're doing that. I always tell y'all white people that they look 20 years into the future or more. We don't. We look 10 minutes into the future. They look 20 years into the future. And they see a societal shift is taking place. People are more aware and more involved about climate change. I think personally the violence and the hatred is a mistake on their part to continue doing this kind of stuff. I think that it's a huge error. Because it proves my point. I already knew this kind of stuff existed. I could have said this. I already knew this. As a black man in the South, I was raised. White folks are like this. White supremacy is very real, and the violence is not that far away. This shows you that. And I've said it before as well, that the Klan, listen, man, the Klan wasn't about getting black people. The Klan was designed to go after white collaborators after Reconstruction. See, that's why I don't get into this Black Lives Matter, this black race shit, because they dumb so much stuff down. They dumb stuff down. You have to understand what Reconstruction was about. You have to understand what we achieved. You have to understand that the Klan was basically the Confederacy, but they put on masks because they were the slave patrols. But they put on masks because it was illegal to continue doing that. That's what they were. That's why it started up so soon after the war ended. They never missed a step. So I felt like them doing that once again showed the world that America is unstable. This is a very unstable country. Don't follow us. Do not follow this fucking country. America is in decline. This empire is in decline. And as they say, a cornered rat will bite. A cornered rat will do the most damage, right? That's what America is right now. We're cornered. Whether these guys go to prison, whether they get off, it's irrelevant. We are in a civil war. We're in a civil war. And that's very real. That's very real for everyone to see, for everyone to be aware of. And every so often, things will calm down. Things will slow down. I think it also shows you something else, that Trump can't really control this shit either. He can't. Because he told them, he said, stand back, but stand by, right? Which is basically like what Hitler did. That, hey, if we continue having these protests and the violence on the streets of Germany, of Berlin, was it Bismarck, whatever, the president was going to declare martial law. This is basically like that. This is basically something like that. He was telling them to calm down because he was getting unstable. But he says it, and not even a week later, these guys get arrested trying to, and I read it, the shit they're talking about, they were going to put bombs on a bridge near a house to slow down first responders. I mean, this is terrorism. This is terrorism. And I look at this shit, and we talked about it before, how they'll downplay it and talk about Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And they're not doing that, though. And I understand the folks that are saying that. That's because they support domestic terrorism. Like, I get that. I get that they're in it. Like, I'm in it. I'm a socialist. I'm out here to win. I'm not out here to play games and pretend that I can work with white supremacists, because you can't. It just put a human face on it, and it reminded us, you can pretend white supremacist violence doesn't exist. Let me ask you a question. Say you're not political. You're a white person. You're not political. What if you're at a rally she's at and they choose to strike then? I haven't read all of it, so I don't know when they were going to strike. What if she was at a rally and they go in there shoot and they kill 30 people? These people were planning on putting explosives on a bridge near her home. You think they wouldn't be willing to kill innocents to get her? This country is at war. We've been at war for a long time. All this bullshit about Iraq and Afghanistan and all that. No, your enemy is white ISIS. It's what it is now. That's what it's always been. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled now. These people are clear about who their enemy is and what they think their plan of action should be. They are not confused. You can be confused if you want to. Peace. They're not interested in peace. And I must say, I'm expecting violence around this election. If you're choosing to vote in person or however take part in this election, be careful. Peace.